We have a lot to discuss. I know it's late in the day, but I wanted to put this video out there anyway because I have a lot to say about these topics. Manel Kape has missed weight against Matheus Nicolau. The fight is now off, and he may have lost himself a title shot in the flyweight division by costing himself this potential win against Matheus Nicolau. Also, the reason why he may have costed himself a title shot is because now Moreno versus Royval 2 has been made, seeing as Amir Albazi is injured. And also, we've got Cody Garbrandt versus Davison Figueiredo at UFC 300. We also have Sean Brady versus Vicente Luque, main event of UFC Atlantic City on the 30th of March. We also have Sean Strickland-Du Plessis situation. I want to talk about this. Dricus Du Plessis pushes no charges on Sean Strickland, his new nickname, Dricus No Charge Du Plessis. I'm going to talk about this topic as well because it's been a big popular story in the MMA world today. And we're also going to go through some of the recent fight announcements, including Amanda Ribas versus Rose Namajunas, Taito Ivasa versus Marcin Tybura becoming a main event, and some others as well. Let's start straight away with Manel Kape. What a long intro. Manel Kape has missed weight. Not by a pound, not by half a pound, by 3.5 pounds. He says that this is because he was ill and he had a virus and he needed antibiotics and he couldn't cut the weight whilst on the antibiotics. Do I believe him? Yes. I also think this is probably the reason why a lot of fighters miss weight. They probably have some kind of illness going into fight week, or they have some kind of injury and it's making it harder for them to cut weight. Regardless of what the reason was, you missed weight, Manel Kape. Chef Manel Kape usually is cooking. This time he was cooking too much on fight week. Put down the fork and make weight, Manel Kape. This is the second time he's missed weight in his career. I think he since 2021 joining the UFC. He's had a bunch of fights cancelled. A lot of people are bringing that up, but most of them, vast majority of them, are not because of him. This is one of the few times where the fight being called off is because of him. He's missed a massive opportunity here. I saw the MMA community. This was the Manel Kape card. Fair play, people were hyped up about Ankalaev versus Walker. But this was supposed to be the big breakout performance from Manel Kape. He's finally got a ton of hype. People are expecting him to come back. He's got a massive window where people are only looking forward to one of his fights because there's no fights beforehand. This will be the first fight card back this year in 2024. Manel Kape has missed a massive opportunity. I also think he missed himself. If he won against Matheus Nicolau, I think he missed himself a title shot that he could have gotten, because this fight also got made recently between Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval 2, seeing as Amir Albazi has pulled out of his fight with Brandon Moreno at UFC Mexico on the 24th of February. I think Brandon Moreno is going to win this matchup, but either way, whoever wins this fight between Moreno and Royval, I don't think they would have deserved a title shot over potentially Manel Kape coming off a win, especially if he would have done it in dominant fashion, because he would have joined the top of the division, probably would have jumped above Kai Kara-France anyway, just because Kara-France hasn't really had too many great wins recently, and Manel Kape would have beaten Matheus Nicolau. I think he probably would have slid up there about number 3 or 4 in the flyweight rankings. And Alejandro Pantoja, I know he's beaten Manel Kape, and I know he's beaten Brandon Royval, and I know he's beaten Brandon Moreno twice, 3 times if you count tough. But Manel Kape would have been the most fresh of the matchups that Pantoja could have had in the top of the division. He missed a title shot for this Manel Kape. You were supposed to go out there, make weight. I'm sick of this. Okay? I'm a big Manel Kape fan. I know he's going to bounce back and become the UFC champion anyway at flyweight. I know it's going to happen, inshallah. But Manel Kape was supposed to destroy Matheus Nicolau, fight Kai Kara-France at UFC 300, unfinished business, take him out, and then fight for the belt at the end of 2024 or the middle of 2024. So Manel Kape, the only way to fix this is to get right back in there. Order the UFC. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. Take my purse. Take this. I'm going to come back another time in a couple of weeks, make the weight this time, not be on antibiotics or anything like that. And Matheus Nicolau, you can take my share, take your show money from this because it wasn't your fault that the fight got cancelled. We're fighting a couple of weeks from now. Either do it on the February pay-per-view, on a fight night card up and coming soon. There's a lot of pay-per-view cards that do have a nice spot on the main card missing for a top-ranked flyweight fight. So, Manel Kape, stay in the US and get on another card coming up soon. We're not going off schedule. You will cook this division in 2024. We move on. So disappointing. I was so hyped for this, and I saw the MMA community. Even at the top of this page, or the bottom of this page, you can see this. The legend Manel Kape is fighting this Saturday by this guy on Twitter. Like, people are rallying behind him. 822,000 views on Twitter, this news. Pathetic. This fight got made. I think Moreno wins. Royval's pretty soy. But Savage for stepping up and taking the fight. Respect to him. Cody Garbrandt versus Kai Kara France was added to UFC 300. I see a lot of people saying it was a good run, Cody. Look, even in the comments here, Cody, you are coming back. Why? Like he's never supposed to take a jump up, by the way. Like, if you would have put Cody against Jonathan Martinez, way lower ranked than Davison Figueiredo at bantamweight, I still would have been worried. But I think Cody Garbrandt has a solid chance of winning this fight. Now, the fact that this was the thing that Dana White broke to us when we already knew this fight was happening and in the works, we already had that leak, and Dana White goes live like, we got this fight being made, and we've also got a couple other fights that we already know about. Pathetic announcement from Dana White. He said he'd have 2 more title fights for UFC 300 announced tomorrow, and he said that on Wednesday. Pathetic. Cody Garbrandt, sorry. I reckon he's got a solid chance here. On the inside, fast hands, in the pocket, planting his feet and throwing. I know Figueiredo keeps range quite well, but I don't mind Garbrandt's chance here. I am going to go with Davison Figueiredo as of right now. That's my early lean. But I think Garbrandt's got a shot against Davison, even though Davison did look really good in his last fight against Rob Font, who Cody looked terrible against. But with momentum and confidence, maybe if they get into a scrappy exchange in the pocket, I could see Garbrandt connecting first. And if he connects first, he might get the KO. Pathetic announcement from Dana White, but still a good fight to add to UFC 300 on the prelims, because we're still waiting for that good main card to come out. We move on. Sean Brady versus Vicente Luque. Big fight in the welterweight division, announced as a main event. Now, after Sean Brady's performance against Kelvin Gastelum, a few things came to mind and a few things didn't. What came to mind was, this guy is a beast. How good is Belal Muhammad really? And what an amazing performance from Sean Brady, absolutely neutralizing Kelvin Gastelum with his grappling. What didn't come to mind was this performance has earned a main event in front of a crowd. That's what didn't come to mind. But either way, they've made this fight. I am going to go Sean Brady as my early lean here because I do like his improvements that he showed in the Kelvin Gastelum fight in terms of his entries for takedowns. I think they've massively improved. I also think Luque keeps his hips very square, and I think that does open up some takedowns for Sean Brady. Now, Luque does get back to his feet quite well and work his way back up. Even against Belal Muhammad, he held his own. So maybe in a 5-rounder, we start getting into the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th. Luque's going to start working his way back up and who knows, land a couple of decent shots on Brady, who now doesn't have the same push that he had in those early rounds. You never know what's going to happen in a fight. I'm going to lean towards Brady, but Luque again is a very good underdog here, which I'm assuming he will be because 5 rounds, Luque knows how to survive on the ground. This is a guy who's been grappling with Gilbert Burns for a very long time. Knows how to survive on the ground. I don't think he's ever been submitted in his career as far as I'm aware. Very good survivability on the ground. So if he does survive, he's going to have opportunity. It's just how much opportunity is he going to have. That's what he's going to work on in his training camp. But I am going to lean towards Sean Brady because of momentum right now. We move on to more fights that got announced before we got to talk about the Dricus situation. This one, I do think Tuivasa would win it against Tybura, but we already knew about this, Dana, and this is a main event in the Apex. Tuivasa's on a 3-fight losing streak. Tybura's coming off getting smoked by Aspinall. Why is this the main event? Oh yeah, it's in the Apex. They don't have to sell out a crowd, so the Apex is now an excuse to put on mediocre, terrible cards with mid-main events. It is what it is. Tybura versus Tuivasa. I mean, it's good. I'll watch it. I like Tuivasa. I like Tybura. I'll watch it. I'll watch every card. But let's get out the Apex, man. The Apex is literally just an excuse for the UFC to put on mid-cards that would never sell out an arena if they were to be in an arena. So I'm sick of it. I feel like the quality of the cards has dropped since we came out with the Apex because they don't have to worry about selling tickets anymore. Tuivasa, Tybura, it is what it is. I reckon Tuivasa can win. We've also got a couple other fight announcements as well. I've already talked about these two, but we've got Rose Namajunas versus Amanda Ribas here. Main event. Apex. I'll repeat my points again. Now, I do think after Rose Namajunas' decent performance against Manon Fiorot, that she could beat the likes of Amanda Ribas, who did look good in her last fight, but I think Rose is composed enough not to allow sudden opportunity from Amanda Ribas. So I do think Rose would win this matchup. I thought she looked all right against Manon Fiorot, even with a broken hand. So I'm going to go over Rose, but main event, come on UFC. What are you doing? What are you doing? Main event. I get it's the Apex and you don't care anymore about the success of the company since Disney bought it. Very clear by the fact you're letting Jones duck Aspinall. And the fact that UFC 300 is looking the way it is. Very clear you don't care about the success of the company anymore and you want to see it fail. But come on with this as a main event. Crazy to me. But you know what? Maybe there'll be an amazing card underneath it that could save it for business. I'll watch it. I'll watch these fights and I'll enjoy these fights. I'm just thinking from like a business perspective. Main event right now in their career? I think that ship has sailed. They need to get momentum back and then we can talk main events. But either way, this has happened. Also, Dricus Du Plessis. They call him Dricus No Charge. Du Plessis is what they call him. Now, I've got a few takes on this. So, police approached Dricus Du Plessis about pressing charges against Sean Strickland after their UFC 296 brawl. Dricus immediately declined and even offered to take the blame to ensure their fight at UFC 297 would take place. Based, okay? That's what we like to see. I would like to be the guy just to sit here and say that's just how badass Dricus Du Plessis. What a savage he is. It's also just a smart move. So a lot of people are saying, man, he's always been an OG. Like, this guy's a real G, Dricus Du Plessis. And he is. But what's more to it is, he's got a title fight with Sean Strickland. What's he going to do? Push charges against Strickland and then Strickland gets caught up in legal trouble and now the title fight falls through and then Dana White's all of a sudden like, okay, Dricus, you want to play that game? Here's you versus Chimaev for a title shot. Like, smart move, I think. Badass move? Real move? Is he a real dude? Yes, he is. Colby Covington, take notes, as people are saying in the comments here. But it's also just a bit of common sense. He's got a title fight coming up. You don't want to mess it up with any awkward stuff in the meantime. Let's get in the cage. You know what I mean? No point lawsuit, no point pushing stuff. You're going to get to fight the guy anyway. What joy is there seeing a guy face legal trouble and be behind bars when you could have the real joy of sleeping him in the main event of UFC 297? Massive. Massive news. Glad the fight's still on. Glad he didn't push charges. He's going to win over some fans with this for sure. A lot of people are saying badass move, savage move. I'm saying common sense, intelligent move is what I'm going to call this. He's got a fight with him. Why would he mess that up? But really good news, though. I'm glad that we got this going ahead. And he could have pushed charges, to be fair. That's why the police, I guess, approached him like, look, you're in a crowd. You merely gestured towards this guy, and he jumped over a barrier and tried attacking you. And did attack you, by the way. Of course, you can push charges. Like, that is a very legitimate situation where Dricus could press charges. And I'm sorry, but it's not going to hold up in a court of law that, oh, well, he pretended to dodge my bullet. My fake bullet that I shot at him, judge. That's not going to work as the defense of Strickland. So, Dricus could push this and get it. He didn't. Respect. Real G. Gonna handle business. UFC 297. Looking forward to it. But also, common sense. Intelligence. Why would he push charges and mess up his title fight? Come on now. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Toodle Pip. I'll see you later. Manel Kape, fix it. Because we're all rooting for you, mate. You got a fan base waiting for you. I was going to try and get you on the channel after the fight this weekend. You messed it up, Manel Kape. Pathetic, mate. We were all waiting for Manel Kape's performance. Now you got people Annoyed, why? Just cut him from the UFC, I see some people saying, because they don't want fun at flyweight. You're supposed to beat Nicolau, beat Cara France in April, and then come back in and smash Pantoja for the belt and become a world champion, mate. Buck your ideas up, Manel Kape. Can't be letting Makayev have the last word on Twitter, because he's always on Twitter, as far as I'm seeing. Fix it. Make the weight. Come back in a couple of weeks, in a month, however much time you're going to need to really recalibrate that weight cut. And get to it, brother. Get to it, because we got to fix this problem. You were set to be a superstar. Get back in there. Flying knee Nicolau. Destroy Cara France. Win the belt against Pantoja. It's easy. I don't want to see the winner of Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval get another title shot against Pantoja, which I know they're now going to do because they don't have you as an option, Manel Kape. You've messed it up, mate. So they're going to do Moreno versus Pantoja 3, even though he's lost twice, 3 times if you count an exhibition match. Because Moreno just gets infinite title shots. See you later. Goodbye.